Hello class, welcome to lesson 2.5, which is all about dividing integers. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to divide integers and find the mean of a set of data. So first, let's start by reviewing. So yesterday we talked about multiplying integers. So if we just look right over here and start with 15 times 4, 15 times 4 would give us 60 as an answer. And then we have negative 13 times negative 7. Remember yesterday we talked about how a negative times a negative results in a positive number. And 13 times 7 is 91. So my answer is a positive 91. Then down here I'm multiplying three numbers together. I have negative 2 times negative 6 times negative 9. I have a negative times a negative. That gives me a positive number right here. And then a positive times another negative ends up being a negative answer. So then I have to go back and look, what is 2 times 6? 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 9 is 108. So my answer is a negative 108. Over here, I have negative 5 times 4. That's a negative 20, right? That becomes a negative 20. Then I have a negative 20 times negative 2. Negative times negative is positive, and 20 times 2 is 40. So hopefully that wasn't too bad on your homework yesterday. Now let's talk about dividing. Those same rules apply. Okay, so if I have a positive divided by a positive, my answer is going to be positive. So I do this normally. 56 divided by 4 is 14. 312 divided by a negative 6, so positive divided by a negative, that is going to be a negative, okay? So 312 divided by 6 is 52. So I have a negative 52, because positive divided by negative is negative. A negative divided by a positive is also going to be negative. And then 126 divided by 7 is 18. Then I have negative 120 divided by a positive 8. Again, that's a negative divided by a positive. That's going to be a negative. And 120 divided by 8 is 15. But let's talk for a second. What if, I'm going to change my pen color quickly. What if instead of being negative 120 divided by a positive 8, we divide it by a negative 8? A negative divided by a negative is going to turn your answer positive. So instead of being a negative 15, it would become a positive 15, okay? So if we move on to the next page, we're going to go through all of those rules of how to know if something is positive or negative. So if we have a positive divided by a positive, our answer is positive. Whoa, I don't know what I did. I'm testing out a new tool at home to record these videos at home, so I don't have to record them at school anymore. Okay. So it might be a little glitchy, I'm sorry. So positive divided by a positive is positive. A negative divided by a negative is negative. Okay, so anytime your signs are the same, so two positives or two negatives, your answer, I'm sorry, I wrote the wrong thing. I was too busy talking. A negative divided by a negative is not negative. That was a silly error I made, but a common one that people say. A negative divided by a negative is positive. So when your signs are the same, so positive and positive or negative and negative, your answer is always positive. If we had a negative divided by a positive, we would get a negative answer. And if we have a positive divided by a negative, again, we would get a negative answer. So if you have one of each sign, your answer is negative. If your signs are the same, your answer is positive, okay? Now, evaluate the quotient. So what if m equals -3, n equals 9, and p equals -2? I'm going to rewrite this. So n was 9, and then there's no operation symbol here. There's no adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing written out. Whenever there's nothing written out, we assume multiplication. So I'm going to use the dot, and then p is -2. So I have 9 times -2 on top of my fraction. Then I have a -3 on bottom. So 9 times -2 is -18 divided by -3. Negative divided by negative is positive, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. All right, I want you to pause the video and try this one on your own. Good luck. All right, hopefully you did 6 times -2 first. You ended up with that -12. And -12 divided by -3 is a +4 for an answer. Then the last thing we're going to learn in this video is kind of a review of something you've done the last couple of years, a mean. So remember, a mean is the average of a set of data. It is also the word some of you call me when you see the homework assignments, but I do it because I care and I know you can. Bad joke, I'm sorry I said that. Moving on, mean, the average of a set of data. So the low temperatures in Minnesota for the first week of 2014 were -23, -23, -20, -11, 10, 9, and 8. So what is the average temperature for the week? So remember, with averages, this is where you add up all of your numbers. So you're going to say -23 plus -23 plus -20 plus -11 plus 10 plus 9 and plus 8. When you add all of those together, and when you have a ton of numbers like that, I'm okay with you using a calculator. Like, that's fine. If I were to talk through it, -23 plus a -23 is -46. Then -46 plus a -20 is a -66. -66 plus a -11 is, -66 plus a -11 is -77. Plus 10 would give me a -67. Plus 9 brings me to -58. Plus 8 brings me to a -50. Okay? So when I add all of those up, I get -50, but I'm not done yet because you take the total, so you add them all together, and you divide by how many numbers there were. So we did the first week, so that's 7 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So -50 divided by 7 equals about -7.14. It doesn't work out perfectly, but when we're talking temperatures, we never do like point something. We always round to the nearest degree. So your answer would be -7. If you have any questions about this lesson or need help with anything, please don't hesitate to ask. I am more than happy to help you. Have a great day.